This was exactly what the Portland Timbers needed. While the wild card was self-admittedly not a place they wanted to be, getting the confidence boost of their first postseason win since 2021, and of course the first of the Phil Neville era, it's exactly what you need going into a very hard first-round playoff series against the one seed in San Diego FC. And perhaps more than just group confidence, individual confidence from a striker that you've put a lot of faith into in Felipe Mora, who should start game one after a brace. He had to wait 5 months between goals in Major League Soccer, and then he had to wait 10 minutes to get his next. And what I loved about both of his goals is that he did all the work for it. Won the header, got his own rebound, and smashed it into the net both times round.
I'm so pleased for Pipe Mora. He had a little baby girl 2-3 days ago. He's been through the mill in terms of not being able to finish, not being able to score. And with Pipe, once he starts scoring, he goes on a run. So I'm super proud of all the players. I thought every single one of them. We came together on Sunday. The focus and concentration on Monday and Tuesday meant that I slept for 9 hours last night and 3 hours this afternoon because I was so confident.
Diego Chara has played in, I believe, 22 of the Portland Timbers' 25 playoff games, and this looked like he was playing in the 2015 MLS Cup run. He was unbelievable today. And yes, his experience showed, but just simply put, he was the best midfielder on the pitch. And if you told me David Ashala was the one to get subbed off and not Diego Chara, I would have a hard time believing you.
I thought Diego Chara was like a man possessed. And we thought after Saturday's game, we thought we needed men on the pitch, we thought we needed experience. And with Chara and with Pipe Mora, I think those players really delivered.
Great starts leave room for error later on, and this was not a perfect game by the Portland Timbers. At the start of the second half, up until about the 60th minute, they were soaking up a lot of pressure from this RSL team. Willie Agata hit the post on a bicycle kick, which would have been reminiscent of Mr. October Dyron Espria this time of year. Of course, Brian Vera pierced the back of the net, but it was rightfully called back on a really silly foul by Cruz. Overall in this game, I thought there was some bad decisions by the RSL coaching staff. When Olatunji got taken off in this game, I said thank you. The 6'2" Nigerian striker who they brought in this summer from Sparta Prague was really good in this game. He frustrated Finn Surman, he got him behind a few times, and when he got taken off in the 60th minute and they brought on Cruz and Willie Agata, yes, Agata had that chance, I was saying thank you. But overall, the Timbers had to soak up a lot of pressure, and there was one moment before the Kamal Miller dagger that really did it for me. Jim Rafori sustained an injury. He had to come off because he was on the ground for a certain number of time, and in those 2 minutes where the Timbers had 10 men and RSL had 11, it was their best bit of possession up until that point in the second half. Was very impressed with that.
That was a massive period in the game and kind of tilted the game back in our favor a bit. With 10 men, I asked the referee because I wasn't sure if Fori had to go off, and he said yes. And when he said Fori had to go off, I was a bit nervous because they were pressing with the two strikers, and me and Finn were under pressure pretty much the whole game. And Anthony went to left back, and I just wasn't sure how that 2 minutes was going to go. I was telling the guys, let's just be solid defensively and wait till Fori gets back on the pitch. But we moved the ball so well and kept the ball for pretty much that whole 2 minutes. And it was massive and helped us grow into the game in the second half and kind of gain field position.
Moments after that, Kamal Miller scores the dagger to make it 3-1.
Zagata with a head to it. Drops for Sermon. Lassiter now. Chips it. Back post unmarked and in.
I want to praise both goalies. I thought Cabral for RSL, like the stops he makes on the Felipe Mora goals initially are really good. He was one of the best, if not the best, goalie in MLS this year of post-shot expected goals. I think he stopped 6 more goals than they should have let in this season, RSL, because that back line was in tatters. But back to the goalkeeping. James Pantemis, Phil Neville showing faith in him getting the start yet again after not a great performance against San Diego, and he made a number of very good saves in this game, and he will likely get the start again against San Diego. And if it's tied after 90 minutes in the first round, it will go straight to PKs, just like it did in the wild card.
I thought it was outstanding. I trust him. And you know what, Max was incredible against Seattle. Max deserved to probably play the next game, and that's been the problem I've had for the last 2 years, is that we've got 2 number 1 keepers. But I just felt that James with his composure on the ball especially, I thought was sensational. High level keeper. We've got 2 high-level keepers, but Jimmy tonight, I think it was a big game for him personally. I agree with that. It was a big game for a lot of them personally. It was a big game for Da Costa tonight personally.
I thought the type of goals that the Timbers scored today were playoff goals. All 3 came off of crosses, and that's not something the Timbers have done a lot this year. I mentioned in the first segment, Mora having the ability to go up with the trees and score those goals. I talked to a journalist who covers RSL, and he talked about the lack of aerial dominance that Brian Vera and Justin Glad have, and I said, that probably isn't really an issue for the Portland Timbers because they don't score header goals. Not the case today. All 3 coming off of crosses. And kudos to Christopher Velde consistently beating the former Sounder DeAndre Yedlin on that left flank and be able to deliver perfect crosses.
There is a real development in this whole football club, and I think what you see is you see with any young team is that you're going to get peaks and troughs, and our trough came at the wrong time, which was at the end of the season. Now, I was speaking to my staff today is that you look back as that you win, Vancouver away, we win that game, we wouldn't have been in this game today. That's how close we were, but maybe this team needs that playing on the absolute edge. I think we're at our best when we're playing on the absolute edge. And I've got a group of players there that I trust with my life, and that is a brilliant place to be as a manager.
So San Diego are obviously the big bad wolf to the Portland Timbers fan base right now, but I have got, let's count here, 6 positives going into this first round series. Last year, the seemingly unbeatable 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, Inter Miami, lost to the 9 seed in Atlanta United. Number 1 seed expansion sides recently, you think about St. Louis in 2023, also lost in the first round to a wildcard team. San Diego might not have Chucky Lozano, and even if they do, there's clearly something going on behind the scenes. He's had a riff in the locker room, not something you want to have going into the postseason. San Diego is incredibly human at home. They are 7-5-5 on their home pitch. And in August, the Timbers probably should have went away with all 3 points in Christopher Velde and Mati Rojas' first game with the Portland Timbers. And finally, all pressure is on the 1 seed in that first round series, which for a young Portland Timbers team is exactly where I want them to be. Are the Timbers favorites in the first round? No, but they're playing with house money. I think Phil Neville wants it that way.
Tomorrow when we wake up, it's straight back to work. We have a lot of film to review to see all the areas we went wrong against San Diego and what we can do better. I believe all their 4 goals came when we had the ball, so we know taking care of the ball like we did tonight. It still wasn't as clean as we should be with all the quality we have around the field, but yeah, we can't turn the ball over like that. They're efficient and lethal, and they play 11 guys attack and 11 guys defend. They're a good team, so we just have to match that.
That will do it for the post-game report. We'll have a full 30-minute breakdown of what we saw in this pitch just in front of me between Portland and RSL on the free Timber Review podcast tomorrow with Adam Booker and I. That should be releasing in the early afternoon, so be sure to check out your podcast feeds. As for myself, I will have a media roundup also on the Timber Review Patreon and a post-game report. Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers I can make it down to Southern California for that one. Have a good one. Timbers win 3-1.